Probably live, maybe live, could be live. Maybe live. No, yes, no, maybe. Get my cup of tea and I'll fucking deal with this. Oh, we already sworn in the first few seconds. Oh, good job. Good job. Perfect. Oh. Get a cup of tea. Don't worry about those sounds. Don't worry about that. That's just normal. That's YouTube sounds. Or stream sound, you know. Oh. Hey Google, why is my cat the best? Oh, no. We're good. We're good. Don't worry about that. Oh my god, I'm surrounded by random stuff. So much random stuff. Oh my god, this Ridge wallet's amazing. No. It's not randomly shill for companies I'm not sure if I'm shilling for yet. Oh. What we got? What's going on? Everything's set up? Are we actually live? We're probably live, aren't we? Maybe we are. Maybe we're not. Who knows? I don't. Maybe I do. Weird graphs on my screen. Who am I kissing? What? Who am I kissing? What's going on? I want to kiss people on stream, I will. But I won't, probably. What's going on? Right, we are... My picture is not live yet, because I'm not... We're not live. We're live, but not live. Tidy your room. How do you... I haven't... My room is a shit tip, currently. I'll tell you that. I thought you got your other jobs in. I thought you got your other job with your fancy men. And people that know what they're doing. Right. Right, what else do I need? I needed to do something. Oh, yeah. I needed to set some form... Oh, I don't need to set a donation goal, but I like to have donation goal at the bottom of the channel. So people... Because people donate all the fucking time. I want them to know where their money's going. So... Yeah. BoredGamer needs a new pretty dress. Pretty dress for Bored. Oh, we could... Okay, so currently, actually, I know what the donation goal will be. It will be for Mercury Star Runners. Mercury Star Runners for giveaway. MS Star Runners. Star Runners, one word or two? We're going to have it as 2 words. $225 each or something. I'll have to contact CIG to get them, or get them. I don't really want to get them from the grey market, or buy them when they come out with 3.11, something like that. That can be the current one. There we go. Bam. Perfect. Streamlined. No one knew. No one knows. There we go. Perfect. Streamlined. Oh my god, we're so seamless. Oh, no, so Wubby's got the private island. Right, let's make my pretty face appear, or otherwise known as my face. Or my ugly face. Oh no, I haven't. Oh no, second, I can't make my stream go live yet. One second, guys. And girl. Sin, you're probably statistically the only woman watching me. Oh no, there should be 2 now. 98% of my viewer base are male. According to YouTube stats. And I think that translates pretty well over to Twitch. What am I doing here? I'm saying I am stream live. Word bad today. Come view it good. It only game. So no, it good. Watch board. Happy time. There we go, perfect. Everyone's going to like that. Everyone's going to know exactly what's going on. TV/board. And some people should say maybe you should be ready when you click the go live button. But I say to them, are you a pro streamer or content creator? No, and neither am I. So I'm stream live. It's Star Citizen. Talkie times. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's posted. Let's get rid of this. Let's post on Twitch and then get rid of Twitch because Twitch does not filter very well, meaning that weird pictures of things might appear, which I never want. Me and John Crew messaging each other about comparing army sizes in 40k and our boxes of shame, which isn't a euphemism for anything. Let's tweet. Tweet. Go. Perfect. Bam. Close that. Pretty face. Let's make the pretty face happen. Hello. That's my pretty... No. The top of my pretty head has been cut off. Well, now we have to... Why am I so unprepared today? I thought I was going to be more prepared than normal. What is this? Oh, no. Perfect. So, I have been really, really busy recently. Setting up BoredGamer as a limited company, getting insurance, getting employees insurance, getting Zin sort of contracted, still ongoing as a process, things like that. So, yeah, sorting out my accountant, sorting out accounts, sorting out very, very light business plans, but more sort of like just restructuring some bits. And I'm exhausted. I haven't been out of the house much at all. I've been out maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times in total in the last 4 months. Yeah. So because of lockdown and stuff, and because I'm sort of shielding my parents. But I went out yesterday to get a business bank account, which was hellish to get because none of the banks were operating properly. So I had to have this I had to go deep into town to the main branch, and that was tiring. The man that I talked to, the business bank manager, had a visor on, not a mask. And I was wearing a mask. Everyone else was wearing masks that were working there. And some people just walking around shirtless. Okay, so it wasn't a great day yesterday, and we've got, obviously, the global lockdown. Why are people walking around sweaty, shirtless, without masks? Trying to make themselves as wide as possible. I don't understand what's going on there. But, yeah. The family's doing fine, thank you very much, Mr. Doctor. Introvertius. I haven't actually bothered to work out how to say your second name. So Doc, we'll call you Doc. The family's doing pretty well. My dad is pretty active, trying to repair the side gate, and he's always wanted to make himself useful. He's back to his old self by miles. We're looking into potential treatments and stuff for him as well now, and there's a load of hope mixed in with a good quality of life. So it's a billion times better. I'm not sure how. When people donate large amounts of money, I'm not sure how comfortable they are being sort of talked about lots, but some people, especially one person, donated a lot of money for the last donation goal. So we've got all the phones and stuff like that sorted now. We'll go over that in a bit more detail once I've got the phone properly and played around with it. You'll probably very soon start to see some pictures of stuff around my house, models and my cats, and me grabbing my cat, rubbing my face into it, and going, bathe in the floof, which is something I realised I was doing on Sunday, which I'm a cat nerd, I've decided. But yeah, stuff's going pretty well. I'm looking at, oh my god, one of my mates is so mad. I'm looking at Ridge Wallet now as a possible sponsor because of their high quality, amazing products for wallets and whatever else they make. But I'll play around with that, see if I like it as a product. It's called a Slimline, it seems right, before I start shilling for them. But I'm looking at other sponsorships potentially in the future. I love, and I will stay with, at least for the mid to quite long term, Shadow and NordVPN. I'll stay with them until I don't like their product anymore, or I think I'll find something more suitable. And I might just have loads of things that I advertise on my website. But as you've seen, the way I do sort of ads and sponsorship, well, ads and affiliate links and stuff, I do them at the end of my videos, and there's links in the bottom. I don't want to do them really, where possible. I don't want to do them at the beginning of a video or in the middle of a video. If anyone's watched Internet Comment Etiquette with Eric, his adverts and his sponsorships are amazing. He makes a whole skit out of them. They're either really silly stories or really beautifully low effort. And I kind of like that. It's the transparency for shilling, which I appreciate when people are shilling for stuff. If I ever did Raid Shadow Legend, I'd give all the money to charity or some cause. I'd go, download this, it's shit. I don't like it, but you might. Maybe you like shit. So it can be transparent about that sort of stuff, and I think it still translates well. Or just picked up my 40k Indomitus box. I am excited. Okay, so I got a bit carried away. So I'm building an AdMech army, but I've stopped doing that because, well, I haven't got my camera or anything yet. One second. So I think when they got rid of the scalpers on eBay. Oh no. I'll take your Indomitus box and I'll raise you. I can see I can lift it so they're not full. This is all the Necron halves of Indomitus I purchased from a mixture of eBay and other people. And they're my friends. One of my mates runs a BoredGamer shop. And he's like, we're selling all the Space Marine stuff, so I'll have all the Necron halves then if you want to sell them. So yeah, I got a lot of Indomitus. Hours and hours. Yeah, mate. So one side of my bedroom is sprues. Also, the thing about plastic sprues. Okay, so let me just grab something that's near my feet. Okay. Oh, what's this? What's this? I just dropped it. These little plastic bits that you cut off sprues when you're making models, they're fucking caltrops, mate. They will cut deep. It's like putting on like 13 plugs. That's an unlucky number of plugs. Oh, that's everywhere. No one's stealing nothing in my room, mate. Oh, sorry, we haven't even got into Star Citizen stuff yet. Just me having a bit of a rant, me being bad at streaming. So, something I've been like, I'm a massive I've got like a huge anxiety, and I'm sort of like, can't even think of the word, hypochondriac, a big hypochondriac. So like all the time I think something's wrong with me, and I'll get it into my head that something's wrong. So it'll be like bowel cancer, or it'll be like spinal cancer, or it'll be all that pain in your side, that's your face falling off, or something like that. It gets ridiculous, okay? And I'm good with sort of like balancing that. I'm in my head now, so I'm managing it, going, you're just being stupid. You're always going to be worried about one thing or another. And sometimes that can be like, it doesn't have to be health things. It can be my accounts. It can be my business. It can be I'm not making enough money. It can be worried about employees in, like, oh God, I've got to make sure our pension's done right and all that sort of stuff. So it can be a huge mixture of things. But there's always one thing that I'm sort of focused on at the time. And I can't remember what it's... Oh, no, so at the moment I've got a bad back. So that means my brain's spiralling out of control, saying, oh my God, you're going to die. Your spine's going to fall out. It's not even that bad. I've had blurry vision and I've been tired recently. And I realised that's because I don't wear my glasses enough. I haven't been wearing my glasses and it's been stressing me out. I'm just a bit of an idiot. But thanks for watching me. I do appreciate it, guys. Oh my God, Technotoad, thank you very much for your money. I love money. I just want to... well, I'll mention the dude's name because he didn't say me not to. The Steampunk Devil donated $400 last stream. He's enabled me to get a really, not just him, but lots of other people, well, really nice phone. But Technica Toad, bored, love your content, been a backer since 2014. I'm beginning to lose faith. What are your thoughts on Cloud Imperium games only being consistent with missing features and the roadmap goal? Squadron 42 seems to be nowhere. So we don't know where Squadron 42 is on the roadmap at the moment. That's true. We also don't know much of what's going on with 3.12 and beyond. We've got a reasonable amount on the roadmap for 3.11, but I'd still say that's probably missing some bits. Cloud Imperium and Star Citizen's development has gone through phases of sort of like being a good amount of communication and information about it to not very much. And we are in a big drought of information, and shame on Cloud Imperium for not giving us more information on the roadmap, more information on Squadron 42, that Squadron 42 video and stuff like that. Like, they need to be more communicative at the very least. I'm a big boy. I can wait for things. I'm happy to wait for things. I love the project. I love the sort of like all about it. But to be involved with that project, they need to communicate. It's fine if there's delays. It's fine if there's problems. But that roadmap, we need more on the roadmap. The roadmaps, I'm fine with features slipping off. I'm fine knowing I want to know what Cloud Imperium are working on, preferably while they're working on it and what it leads to. But I want to know what they're working on, what they're planning to work on, and why delays are occurring and what they're doing to solve them. Yeah? And I don't think that's too much to ask for with this sort of project in development. In fact, I think it's probably exactly what we expect. Yeah? Now, Squadron 42 stuff, they still have, technically, on the roadmap, let me actually show it to you. Roadmap. You asked my thoughts on this, so I'll give them to you. And you gave me money as well, which makes me happy. I like money. So we still got the roadmap to completion for Squadron 42. Obviously, it paused a few months ago, though, so it hasn't received updates. But and we don't know how much of a delay that this is incurred. We're assuming there's at least a quarter or two delay on Squadron 42. So maybe their beta, optimistically, has been pushed back to Q1 2021. Yeah, and that's not a public-facing beta. That's an internal beta for them to test the Cloud Imperium to test before they release it, whenever they want to release it. And we don't know when they then release Squadron 42 Episode 1 after that. I mean, there could be marketing stuff involved. It could very well be that they wanted to have a CitizenCon this year to then have the details of Squadron 42, sort of like its big sort of marketing release on it. I actually expected that last year, but obviously CitizenCon this year has been cancelled. So I'm expecting we'll see a CitizenCon early-ish next year, and then they'd have sort of like Squadron 42 heavy focused CitizenCon. I mean, this is all sort of like educated guessing, so please bear that in mind. And then release it midway, sort of like through 2021 would be my expectation for Squadron 42 at the moment, but that might change. But we don't know enough about Squadron 42. We're waiting on a Squadron 42 video to come out, giving us a bit more insight where the development is with that. They need to give us an updated form of information for Squadron 42. Well, maybe they don't. Maybe they just need to run a monthly video on Squadron 42, or a monthly sort of like what they're updating a little bit more depth than the monthly newsletter that they give. So we are still getting Squadron 42 updates and deeper Star Citizen updates when they have the monthly reports, which are at the beginning of each month. And if you watch them, read them, or however you consume that data, I say watch them, you can't watch them, you can only watch them if you watch them through a YouTuber like myself. Or you could just suppose look at them, read them, that's what people call that. Yeah, so we still get quite a lot of information from that. It's just we need more information conveyed to us. Cloud Imperium do not communicate enough, and a lot of people get disappointed when the feature slips. But there'd be a lot less disappointment if, when they released a roadmap, they said, we're trying to get this here, but it could slip. Or the current priorities are this, this, and this, and this, but these are more likely than these ones. And then as something goes, actually, it's going to take longer, immediately they say it's going to take longer, why it's going to take longer, and bam. And they can have that as part of the roadmap roundup. And they do it to some extent, but not enough of an extent. Yeah? When do they fix ESP? 1 year, 10 years, never? See what it's like in 3.10 live. It has been changed. I'm really liking the combat in 3.10. I was actually fine with the targeting before they gave it all the new features, but sort of started bringing it back to the same ergonomics of what it was previously. So combat in 3.10 and ESP and pips and stuff like that is significantly better. So tell me what you think of it once you play it in live, and then we can talk about ESP and the combat model. I think we need to start judging the game more critically on its core features from 3.10 onwards. Okay, because they need to have that flight model and that combat model and some of these core systems, the UI, all that sort of stuff, the lesser extent AI and missions and things, but the core features that are going to be included in Squadron 42, I want to have a more critical look at from patch to patch to patch to patch. Okay, because I think that's super important, and I want them to get the core of their game done. So that's sort of like my agenda when it comes to some of my coverage, at least. Yes, Cloud Imperium need to communicate more and give us more roadmap data, because they're not enough. It's just not enough. There's not enough. Thank you very much, Mill. Very much appreciated with your Prime subscription. That's the one. I couldn't remember what it was called. I was like, Right, what we got here. So we did see on... I'm transferring data between phones and things at the moment. So we'll talk about this in a minute. There was I was literally online when this happened. And then a few minutes later it went off. Asperia Talon, strike hard and fade away. It looks like the new Tavaran fighter was briefly appeared on the website, on the RSI website, and wasn't accessible. It was when you tried to go to that page, it said that page isn't accessible. But it looks like they're either building the page for a sale, or release. But it looks like they are building a page for sale and release, but we don't know how far they are along with it. Could it be for 3.10? It's possible. Could it be for 3.11 or 3.12? Yeah. We don't know where. But yeah, Spirit Talon, almost certainly Tavaran light fighter, slightly stealth-based, like low emission systems, and the Tavaran shield tech, which is good against projectiles. Just very good shield tech, I suppose. But we'll talk more about that if people want to in a bit. Have you seen the Chris Roberts to Taylor Swift deep fake video? No, I have not. It's weird. It's really weird. I will look for it maybe later. Oh, you're right, Michael. You sent me a message the other day. Hey guys, got a question for the channel. How would everyone feel if we did a welcome stream for Zin where we all gave donations to her salary? So she's going to get salaried by the company and shouldn't... I mean, it's going to really upset. Like, no, give me donations. No, okay. So the company will be able to support her, okay? The company does not require specific donations for Zin's salary. If you want to give me money, yeah, that goes into mine and Zin's pockets if it doesn't go into the channel. Do you see what I mean? Anyway, and I'm going to make sure Zin is appropriately compensated, and if she starts to really boost the channel, she's going to make a load more money load quickly. She's one of my best friends in the fucking world, and I think we will work pretty well together, because she's really honest, and occasionally from maybe making an awkward joke about it, I think I'm okay with criticism. Maybe I do take the. She really rips my videos apart. She's like, basically, why aren't you doing it like this? Why is this? Why have you put low effort into this? Your editing's terrible. I know, that's why you're my editor. Now you can edit my videos. This doesn't make sense. I was like, well, it doesn't need to make sense. It needs to sound like it makes sense. But I'm happy to do. For not just Zin, but for like the mods and stuff, Zin or Mod Appreciation Day or stuff that is focused donations towards them as well at some point. Yes. But I don't want to... I suppose, realistically, I don't want to overly incentivize that, because I want that money for the company. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? I don't want people to go, let's give thousands and thousands to Zin. So, what? What? She's getting a wage! She's getting paid! I'm paying her! Taking away the donations from me. That's how I'd be. But she certainly needs to at least earn a percentage of donations on a stream that she appears with me on and stuff like that. I'll work that out with her. We'll work something out. And yeah, I do think some focus streams for donations going to the mods, because like Huntress and Giran and people, they've been with me for ages, and they've done a lot of work for me for no money. It doesn't have to be for money. It can be for ships, or it can be for something silly, or a gift, or a present, or something. But yeah, I appreciate that I've got quite a caring, kind community. But give me your money. I need your money, not them. God damn it. With the roadmap being very light, do you think we'll see any surprises in new tech and gameplay by the year's end? Yes. So there's quite a lot of stuff that's still going to be added to the a reasonable amount to the 3.11 roadmap, as I believe, but a lot to the 3.12 section of the roadmap, like the C2 Hercules, almost certainly, iCache, there's Vulkan integration, the Gen 12 renderer stuff that they've all been working on. So not all of this will make it in, and I'm not sure what state it will make it in. I mean, we could very well see first tier repair and salvage. We could see the Hull C. We could see docking, the Taurus, the Parasite docking. There's actually quite a lot that could make it in at the end of the year, and some stuff will. It's hard to know what Cloud Imperium's priorities are while they're not sharing the full roadmap and stuff. However, they are going to be adding more and more bits to that roadmap in the coming weeks. Cloud Imperium should be quite aware that people are annoyed that they're not sharing enough information, because they're not, and it's not acceptable for them to go, well, we're not share a reasonable amount, and then it sort of drops off. What? You gotta keep it up. You gotta keep that communication up. You're making more money now, a month on month, than than the years previous that you ever have done. $15 million in May. Come on, you've got to keep up the communication. It's the bare minimum you've got to do. And yeah, I just think it's a little insulting sometimes. I know there's a lot going on. I know they're trying to get 3.10 out the door before then moving on to other stuff and starting to show us more. But they need to communicate a lot better, a lot more, in a lot of different ways. And they've got the money to do that. If you need more community managers, do it. If you need another person to do Disco Lando's job with Disco Lando in a smaller capacity that Disco commands, great, do that. You've got the money to do it. Do it! Bonus for Zin, I like the idea. No, Zin, you're supposed to use one of your sock puppet accounts. Oh, communication for 1 million. Oh, mate. Oh. Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand why CIG sometimes just don't see that communication issue. They don't immediately address it. It's so easy to address. And it just seems to go in waves. And, yeah. But as I said, I know it's partly because they want to get 3.10 out the door, and they're sort of like building a load of stuff up for as soon as 3.10 goes out, bam, they start showing 3.11 and 3.12 stuff, and potentially some stuff on Squadron 42, and some new ships, and some other cool stuff that's coming along. Yeah, it's just more communication, please. I think that's reasonable, all right? Did he fall downstairs? No, I just making weird sounds when I come along. It's fine when people dislike the video, because dislike is still an interaction, and it still gets more views and hires the P score, and that sort of stuff. So one of the things that people don't realise is that any form of interaction, comment, upvote, view, downvote, all adds to the interaction of a video. Well, no, the actual views probably don't, and watch time. So if you really don't like someone or something and you want to damage the channel, don't watch their stuff or interact with it at all. Folks explained to someone the other day that if I was a little bit more controversial in some of the stuff I did, then I get posted more on people going, look at this stupid idiot guy. I mean, like, they do to an extent anyway. But that's actually good for your that's actually good for your channel because it expands your viewer base. I don't know why anyone thinks this game is a scam. It's being made by John Crew, not John Drew. I've got a beautiful, beautiful pointy head. Did I miss the Talon talk? Not really. I sort of briefly outlined the Talon leak, and we'll look more at the Talon again in a minute. We'll talk about it throughout. I think a lot of people want to talk. I mean, one of the things that I think is annoying that Cloud Imperium do, I have a bit of a rant. I've got a bad back and I'm in a pissy mood. Is the moving of hotkeys, changing the hotkeys and the key bindings during PTU patches a lot, not just a little bit. Moving them around, going, actually, we're going to do this. Oh no, we're going to move them back here. We're going to move the what key should we have for lights and flashlight? Not T anymore. We'll have it as L. Okay. Actually, people quite liked it for T. So we'll have the flashlight T when you're on FPS on foot, but we'll have L still the flashlight, the lights for ships, and we'll have T for target lock now. My head implodes. It's more annoying for me because I actually, once I've learnt something, I find it hard to unlearn and change the way I do stuff. Also, I'm writing tutorials for 3.10, which constantly need to be rewritten for the targeting and the new buttons changes. As I'm sort of... Zin, with that in mind, I've updated that tutorial a little bit. Oh, Michael Ike, thank you so much. This is for me, yeah, not for Zin. Hey, bud, do you think that Talon base... What? Hey, bud, what do you think that the Talon based on the sneak peek of the art... Why can't I read this? Why is my brain broken? Hey, board, do you think that the Talon based on the sneak peek of the armor and the little part about do you think the armor could be adaptive, so not fully vanishing, but melting in with better surroundings, I'm working on some 3D printed prizes for the mods. Oh shit, son. Okay, so my brain just might not have been able to read that properly because it's at a weird angle, and I'm an idiot. You sent me $150, which means I love you. You're literally. I will dedicate a love poem to you. Michael Ike gave me lots of money, and it's for me, not for sin, and I can buy things like starships and beer. I hope you like my love song. Thanks, Ike. Thanks. So there's not going to be optical camouflage, as far as we're aware, in any form in Star Citizen. Stealth is specifically going to be you managing your systems, you managing the environment, and then scanning and pinging and a choice of systems and their emissions. So you can't be invisible. You can't have optical camouflage. You could have a black paint job, though. You could have a paint job that is better for urban environments or whatever. Yeah, because that would part of the targeting system is actually seeing your target for sure. So there is that. We did see in the Chairman's Club letter, let me show you this, that it was suggesting that the Talon, I believe this is the Talon because it says, Chairman's Club is teaming up with Asperia to bring you exciting surprises. Our sources say a more momentous happening may be on the horizon. And this appears to be some sort of colour shifting, not mother of pearl, it is mother of pearl. Is it iridescent? Is that the word for it? Sort of like colour shifting-esque skin that's probably going to be exclusive to Concierge when they purchase, if they purchase the Talon. I think this is probably the Talon. That's what they were talking about here. Thank you very much, Stock Project. Very much appreciated. Good day indeed. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the raid. Let me ask it this way. I sense I was ignored. Lol. Do you think it's the time CIG addressed the state of the game and what to expect soonish by Chris Roberts himself? So I would like to see Chris Roberts again, and I'd like to see Chris Roberts once a month. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I mean, it's not essential. I'm sure he's busy, quite genuinely. And there's people probably more appropriate to update us on the state of the game, including Aaron and Tony Z, Brian Chambers, even Disco. I mean, Disco should have quite a high level view of all operations of the project. So Todd Pappy, people like that. So Chris might not necessarily be the best person to always talk to. Every 3 months, though, I think once every 3 months at least, we should hear from Chris. I mean, they sort of do that Pillar Talk video, which we haven't seen for 3.10 yet. Hopefully we will. But I would like to get a bit of an update from Chris. And obviously we hit huge milestone and funding goals for Star Citizen. It's making more money year on year. It might be that he doesn't have much to say beyond we're working on the game. But, I mean, he could... Yeah, I mean, I think it would be nice. A lot of people, obviously, when they originally backed, like 2012 time onwards, the first good few years, there was lots of updates from Chris and stuff because the team was smaller. So hopefully they'll bring some of that back. We need some more of that community interaction and what's Chris thinking, what's he doing, what's the plans. Start giving us that communication. Start having him talk to us again. It doesn't essentially need to be all the time from Chris. Like, he might not be the most appropriate person to do that. It would be just nice to see him. We haven't seen him for a while. Yeah, but so the guys from Ashes of Creation, much smaller team at the moment. When they've got a huge team, it might start changing the way they've got their updates and everything. But it very much for me, I want to start seeing more from Cloud Imperium when it comes to communicating roadmaps, what they're working on, why they're working on it, why stuff's been delayed to an extent, sort of like why has it been prioritized, where's it moved to, what's going on with that, just a bit more. Really, I'd like to see a roadmap to completion of features for the persistent universe, just saying these are all the features we want in the persistent universe, this is what we're working on at the moment, this is the roadmap stuff that we think we're going to get in soon, and that sort of thing. It doesn't have to be all dated or anything. Just, you know, it'd be nice to see what the plans are to an extent. Have they said anything about space elevators between cities and space stations? I'd love to see that. I don't think they've said anything about space elevators. Not that I've got in my notes at all. Doesn't mean they don't exist in the lore. Thank you so much, Michael. I'm interested to know what you think of 3D printed prizes. What are you thinking? Oh, excited. Technically, I'm a mod as well, so you can send me prizes. It's so greedy. I'm so greedy. So the Hammerhead is more expensive with real money than the Carrack. Costs about half of that in game. Is one of them overpriced? They're both overpriced. You can get them in game. You can buy them with real money in game now. No, you can buy them. You can buy them in game. Buy them in game now with in-game money in 3.10's PTU. You probably pretty much all the ships now. They've in 3.10 they've added almost all the rest of them. So the only ships you cannot buy in game in 3.10 are the Scythe, the Glaive, the Saber Raven, and the Mustang Omega, and the Grey Cat Rock at the moment. Oh, and sort of like the skin variants. So you can't buy the Star Citizen Dragonfly. But don't buy they're both expensive for real money. They're both expensive for real money. Doesn't matter if you think one of them's a bargain or not. They're both expensive. I mean, they're digital purchases. Play the game, get the stuff. That's my suggestion. However, if you've got huge amounts of disposable income and neither gaming is your major hobby, don't let me tell you to do with your money. Don't let me tell you what to do with your money. I'm not your dad. That's what I was trying to say, but I couldn't get the words out of my mouth. It was more sort of like blah. Has there been any info released on the digital event that will be placing CitizenCon this year? No, beyond that, CitizenCon is cancelled for 2020, and there's going to be some form of digital, some sort of in-game celebration of some kind, some sort of event, but we don't know what and to what extent. It might be a tiny little thing, might be a huge thing. Why are people sending me more money? Michael Ike loved the song. It's not my song. So is it Darren Lambourne, this one? Or is it First Light? Is it the Pedro one or the Darren Lambourne one? It's Pedro. Chaos is life, mate. I am chaotic. I didn't even want Necrons. I didn't want Necrons, and I went. I used to collect Tomb Kings back in the day for Warhammer. What was that? I kind of quite like the models. I like to do a big tide of Necrons. That's when I bring hundreds and hundreds of Necrons against John Crew and just go, have all this. All my Ghost Flayers. Speaking of Necrons, do they still suffer from terminally being point balanced for 1k battles? I haven't played any of the 9th edition. I haven't played any 8th or 9th edition 40k. I've watched some 8th edition games, and now I've watched a few 9th edition games. I'm learning the 9th edition rules at the moment. The Necrons and the Space Marines, they are getting new codexes for 9th within the next couple of months, or next few months. The first will get the new codices. But so my plan is still to do what I really want to do is my AdMech cavalry army. I've got some of the models for that already. You have the same glass frame as good old BoredGamer. It's because these ones are cheap. I think are they called Christian? Aaron Gunmetal. That's what mine are called. Oh, Michael, like, anytime you want to change a song, $50, you can change it to whatever the fuck you want. Genuinely, thank you. I appreciate the help on the channel, like, massively. It's yeah. Yeah. As I was talking last time, the streamer paradox is weird because you want the money. You definitely want people's money. You want the donations. You feel a mixture of guilty, smug, happy. Uh, also, like, oh, how do I give? How do I make that justifiable? Like, how do I need to give them something in return? You don't know what. And then obviously the pictures of the lower part of my body, they're not worth that much anyway. And what else have we got here? Do you think they can actually pull off server meshing? Yeah. Doesn't seem overly complex from what they've said. So it's just servers stitched together, handing data off seamlessly to each other. The reason that no one else has done it quite in that way, that sort of like all the servers stitched together, seamlessly handing data with no loading times, is because other games get around it by just having loading screens. Server meshing's a kind of a good idea for Star Citizen. Well, it's an amazingly good idea for Star Citizen, but it's not necessary or suited. Well, it's not necessary for almost every other game in the world. There's a lot of stuff that if they made concessions on, like with server meshing and things like that, well, actually with huge amounts of Star Citizen, if they actually went, we'll do something similar or almost as good or whatever, Star Citizen would probably be released in some form already. The problem is that it's hugely sort of like going for, we have to have it done this way. And that creates, there's a big vision behind it. One of the things a publisher would have done was sort of like put a fire under our asses and got stuff done. It might not have been as good eventually, but it would have been completed a lot earlier in lots of different ways, and lots of stuff would have been gone, well, rather than the feature creep and feature bloat, we'll actually push for these sort of elements. Now, you could certainly argue one way or another what development style you would prefer, but what we have from Cloud Imperium is a very slow development time, but hopefully that will lead to a much better, beautiful, amazing game. And a lot of people obviously love that idea, which is why they get so much money from ship sales, and there's so much sort of like community buzz around it. And obviously, that obviously creates polarization in some areas as well, but there's something definitely being done right with marketing and the way they are developing the game, which is why it's so popular. But yes, I definitely think they'll be able to pull off server meshing, and if they didn't pull off server meshing, they'd go for something pretty similar, the next best thing. I mean, if they went, oh, we can't do it, they'd go, well, I'll have to have loading screens between servers. Do you remember what all iCache will actually do for us? What, whiter than leaving a mug in the forest? So no, Snake. Okay, so iCache is going to have all the details of all the items and ships and everything like that all listed in the server. So that allows for physicalized inventories. That allows for full persistence, which is leaving your mug in the forest. That allows for all that sort of stuff. And that's obviously integral to having a MMO where you actually affect the universe. So expect that the databases will be significantly more stable and be able to store a lot more. So you probably won't see as many resets, things like that. And when resets, when they copy information across even, it should have your account details much more significant, with less problems copied across, is what I'm trying to say, with a lot of problems. So the iCache is core and backbone to a huge amount of services and plans for Star Citizen as well. I mean, physicalized components, all of that requires iCache. Having physicalized addresses, player hubs, all this sort of stuff. Server meshing requires it. We send money because we're monsters who tell bad jokes. At least it's not dad jokes. I get a lot of dad jokes from Noodle and oddly DC somehow. Bromopar, thank you very much for that money. Mwah. You are a monster. You're all monsters. You're my little monster. Do you remember... no, that's right. I've already read that. Do you think that there is a remote chance we will get Pyro in Q4 2020? Yes. I think there is a slightly more than a remote chance for the 3.12 patch, which could be renamed 4.0 if we get Pyro. So Star Citizen Leaks think or at least suggested that it might be a 2-stage release for Pyro, with the first 3 to 4 planets being at the end of this year, and then the rest of them being Q1 2020. And obviously they've planned to put the Crusader and Horizon into the Stanton system in Q1 and Q2 of 2021 as well. So I think there's quite a high possibility that we'll see some of Pyro by the end of this year. How long does it usually take from Wave 2 to open and then to live? So we're on Wave 2 at the moment for the PTU, which means people that were relatively active in bug posting, bug testing, all that sort of stuff, as well as concierge subscribers and Evocati have all access now. But typically, pretty quickly, the patch goes to open PTU, typically within a few days, or sometimes within a few days, and then goes to live again within a few days. I would expect Cloud Imperium to be trying to push for a live build of 3.10 this weekend. But there are some blockers that might get in the way of that. They're still trying to work out targeting to make sure everyone's happy with it. Though, yeah, the landing splines, the restricted area rework, hangars, some ship spawning stuff, some loadout stuff, especially with prisons. There's a few things, spawning issues with ships. There's some major blockers that they need to solve. So I'm planning as soon as the lockdown is ended, and people are back in the office at Cloud Imperium in Winslow. I'm planning to try and get an office tour as quick as I can. So I will try and get an office tour as soon as I can from today, because I mean the channel focuses on Star Citizen news, and I need to be actively pursuing that a bit more now. I didn't need to differentiate my content as much back in the day because I was one of the few people doing Star Citizen content, and I was able to appeal to a large audience by just covering it constantly. But now I'm going to have to compete more on a slightly more exclusive level, or at least giving a bit more analysis to some of my videos and stuff. Obviously, Zin being my editor should mean high quality videos. Certainly couldn't be lower quality. I can't imagine what she could possibly do to make them lower quality other than just smear crap over her like a webcam and go, BoredGamer video with his voice. Michael Ike, the prizes are 3D printed ships from Star Citizen, a few custom items that are channel specific, lol, the song you sang for the $150 donation. I've been playing Necrons for years, and 50 mod. Oh, you monster! Thank you very much for the money. I'll get a little plaque for behind for you. There's some people such as yourself, and Huntress and people like that have donated so much to the channel over the years, and that I mean I would like to honour them in some way, but like permanently. I'll get a canvas or a plaque or something, and have people's names for that. But it's genuinely very much appreciated. You clearly have more money than sense, but that is why I like you. Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Oh, I know. It's like, I think that's one of the worries, is that Zin will be more popular than me and generate more donations than me. I'll be like, thanks, guys. Thanks. Thanks. How come even with Wave 2 out, some people don't have access to the PTU? Because Wave 2 isn't open PTU. It's just more people. It's the more active people in that have participated on the issue council and reporting bugs. Do you think a future 3D printer would be best for the first stage of crafting? Can you be more specific what you mean? What you mean is Star Citizen as a gameplay mechanic? Or do you mean if you're building models or things in real life? 3D printers, resin 3D printers are great now. They're affordable, and they're very low hassle, especially if you get washable resin, where you still have to dispose of that, the washed off resin. When do you think the Banning Merchantman will be ready for the persistent universe? So it looks to me, and basically Cloud Imperium have implied that the Polaris will be worked on before the Banning Merchantman. I would expect to start to see some bits on the Banning Merchantman by the end of this year, though. Like them finishing up the concept work to quite to a good degree. But I wouldn't expect to see the Banning Merchantman in game until the end of next year. Well, just throw me a Titan suit and I'll do anything you need. I'm hoping we see Titan suits soon. So one of the things that we've got for 3.12 at the moment is mystery armor. Some people are hoping that that's Titan suits. I mean, it's possible it could be salvager armor or bounty hunter armor or something from Pyro armor or Popo armor, police armor. If you had to choose your top 3 HOTAS setups, the top one is my Verpal Constellation Delta. That is by far the best HOTAS I've ever used. I'll have to think about if anything else is even close to that. I mean, I really like the T16000M HOTAS because it's so cheap for what it is. The Warthog was pretty good. It just was too heavy for me. It wasn't suited for me. Do you think network tech is far more important than anything else? I think network tech is very important. I think core game features in general, getting the flight model good. Let's say perfect. That is very relative. Getting the flight model good, physicalized components, the ship combat, all that sort of stuff is at least equally as important. Like network tech has to be great eventually, but in the shorter term, it maybe isn't as important as some of those core features, in my opinion. Would you accept an employment opportunity at Cloud Imperium Games? How do you know one hasn't already previously been offered to me? Probably not. And the reason for that is that now I'm employing someone for my own business, and I'm quite erratic as a person. I am bipolar, and I suffer from quite severe anxiety sometimes. And I'm the joy of YouTube and what I do is that I can take a break when I need to, but I'm also a bit of a workaholic, and doing something and focusing on something allows me to clear my mind. So if I can do something that helps generate income, and I can work on like videos or research or playing games or whatever whenever I want to, great, because I can work 7 days a week and I can work 10, 15 hours a day if I need to, and then if I need to take 2 days off because the world's too much, then I can. And also I'm looking after my dad and my mum at the moment. And also, can you imagine sort of like the current global situation is so sort of erratic. I've got one of the more stable jobs now in the world. I mean, it certainly affected me, the global lockdown. Like YouTube slashed ad rates by about 40%, which was terrifying when I'm just taking on a new employee. I'd sensibly built up stuff, and obviously we've got the affiliate links from Shadow and Nord and things like that, and Patreon and donations and the YouTube subscriber stuff, the channel subscribers, the join button. That helps so much. And mad people like Michael Ike sending huge amounts of money. I mean, that helps. That's a bit of a safety net, isn't it? But I do want to invest that back into the channel and into things like the Mercury Star Runners. Like, I'll grab us a few Mercury Star Runners for giveaways, things like that. I think that's the idea. I appreciate people enjoying my rants occasionally. One of the other things that annoys me is that people say, like, I'm obviously a massive fanboy of Star Citizen, and I am, and that's totally fine, but they basically say I'm never critical. I mean, I'm very critical over certain things, and not others. I think they want me to be negative, is what they actually mean. Positive even when I'm annoyed. Unless I'm playing Apex Legends, which because I'm just angry. Do you think Tavaran shields should be hull locked? Oh, that's a good question. I am happy for some systems to be more suitable. Yeah, I'd be happy with some alien ship systems only being suitable for those alien ships. Yeah? So, Tavaran shields, Tavaran power plants, things like that. Yeah. I think that sort of makes sense, right? Because of the sudden lack of communication, do you think we're getting a restructuring of the content being worked on? More systems, less ships? We're certainly getting less ships. I mean, the previous years, they had sort of like, previous to 18 months ago, they were doing like a concept ship sale every 6 weeks or so, when they started in mid-February every year. And now, what we haven't seen the concept ship for ages, really. The G12 rover, we occasionally see a straight-to-flyable ship or vehicle, so they have been moving on that straight-to-flyable model. And even when they do sort of like, when we talked about the Talon, the Talon was sort of like accidentally teased on the website. People were like, "Oh, another ship! Oh, Cloud Imperium always making ships." It's like, what? They haven't been massively pumping out the concept ships for ages, and we're not even sure if it's going to be a concept ship. The Talon might be a straight-to-flyable ship. There is a helicopter going over my house, so you have to bear with that. Who's Cloud Imperium's communication officer? And they've got also different like community managers for different things. Like Jared Disco Lando is more in charge now of like the subscriber and video content. So Ulf, I would say, is probably it's Ulf or Xylo, and probably more Ulf at the moment. There's more communications for talking to the community liaison-esque stuff. But I might be wrong with that. I'll have a bit of a look. Oh, Steambug Devil, I didn't even realise you were here. I love you. You and Michael are both in my top list. Multiplicative. I'm quite excited for your 3D printed stuff now, Michael. Because you seem to be pretty hyped with it. I've heard everyone's kept their assets in the PTU. That does not mean that we're going to have... That's not indicative of whether we're going to have a wipe or keep our assets in the live build. We do not know if 3.10 live will have a wipe or not yet. Yes. Have you noticed that we got your back Electro Skinner hull got removed from the store? Yes, because they're adding the paints. They're sort of like new versions of paints and stuff to the store, and they're having them in game as well. So it didn't fit with that. They'll sort that out later. That skin. Board been following on and off. What happened to Bug Smashers? So Bug Smashers, I actually quite enjoyed the show as well. I really like Mark Abent. He worked on Black Mesa and is part of the Crowbar Collective. So I actually knew of his work for quite a while. So the show suddenly stopped around the same time that Cloud Imperium got sued by Crytek. And it was expected that Crytek were trying to use the fact that Bug Smashers was talking and occasionally showing lines of code, that they were showing code that shouldn't have been. And that's one of the expectations, that's one of the reasons people thought, at least, that Bug Smashers has stopped. I suspect it will return in another format in the near future. Will there be multiple major cities on Earth? We don't know. So in lore, they show them for Tokyo, New York, London, Moscow, I think. New York, yeah, something like that. If we have Earth, I would expect to have multiple landing zones, or no landing zones, and you can only go to the space station above it. Something like that. Do you know what I mean? I like your videos. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm hoping we get the Sol system in game, and it's not like cut off at the end of Squadron 42. They go, haha, the jump point's been destroyed by that vandal. Are you planning any community meetups, missions, or silly things like Penguin Snowboard Olympics? Yes, I'll be talking to Zin about that. I want her to start organising things like that, her and the mods, so that I don't have to worry about them. I know they're semi-organised, and I can just get on with playing, recording, and all that sort of stuff. I'm terrible at organisation of that sort of thing. Kelly Roy, thank you very much for the sub! And Fatal, 8239, thank you very much for the sub as well. Shite. I get the feeling that Aaron Roberts goes around CIG offices stealing employee lunches out of the company fridge. You met him? Do you you feel your food would be safe around him? Thanks again, bud. I think that's hugely harsh. So I really like Aaron. Aaron is excited, straight talking, and he tells you what he wants. And he's very reasonable. I've had a couple of lunches with him. Like before I've gone to office tours, I've gone to the nearby pub that I know they would have been frequenting, and I've seen Aaron there and talked to him at length, and during interviews and stuff I've talked to him at length before and after the interview as well, with some stuff that is part of the NDA. But he's a good chap. He's a genuinely good chap. I am glad that it's not just Chris running riot. Aaron reins him back and gets stuff done. Chris is much more of the visionary and tries to keep it to his vision, whereas the other managers and studio directors and stuff, they try and make that come to life as much as possible, but also rein Chris back. So there's a very much a push and pull. What else have we got? But yeah, so people, I want people and viewers and my org members to get involved with some of the B-roll recording and some of like the live stream stuff in the future for sure. I mean, that's going to be great content for the channel, and I want to sort of like weaponize you guys as much as possible, because I mean, you look at stuff that like Rexilla and Detox and Salty Mike and people do, like that's great. Use your community to make the great content, and why not? Like, we might as well start playing together. And we've just been waiting for a more stable Star Citizen, and obviously I haven't had the best free time when it comes to my home life as well. But with the addition of Zin, that literally changes, and hopefully we also need a stable Star Citizen. I'm not going to try and grind Star Citizen for 8 hours to get 10 minutes of footage because it's not working. Who would have thought you would have been such a good mod? Like, you're pretty good. I made you a mod as a joke almost, and you've just been great. Thanks. Any recommendations on a cheap webcam I can use for head tracking? Try and get a C920 on eBay, or when they do an Amazon sale. Because when you get an Amazon sale, you can get them for like, $30 or so? Like $90 normally, but you can get them super cheap. Function-wise, the difference between the M2 and C2, why would someone want the M2 over the C2? So the M2 has less cargo capacity, but is significantly more armoured, is the idea. It is the military version. It's going to take a much more of a beating than the C2 can. The C2 can hold more. Do you think they made Alpha UEC bot ships non-persistent across character resets to drive ship sales on the site? They should persist. So your Alpha UEC bot ships should hopefully persist into 3.10. Maybe. We don't know yet, is the thing. It'd be interesting to see if they do any form of remote door opening or remote landings to like a small extent. Because okay, for example, that we saw the recently we saw the docking undocking parasite craft. So that's an automated docking system allowing you to dock undock with your ship, yeah, with your constellation, with your P52 or your P72. Now, say you want to dock undock with your Pisces on your Carrack, yeah, that's a door that has to open. You have to open that door, okay? Can't open it remotely from the Pisces. So really you need to be able to open it from the cargo bay, from your mobiGlas, or from the Pisces. Both open and close it, yeah? You have permissions to. I think there needs to be some remote access to ships. Very limited. With the changes to trading and box missions, will it make saving for a ship more repetitive and grindy? If you're doing just trading and box missions, yes. Simple as that. We're doing just those things, yes. We haven't got a dynamic economy yet. There is going to be a best way of making money from trading. That's going to be pretty repetitive. Do you think it would be a nice idea for bins so we have somewhere to throw our bottles of water? Yeah, well, we do have bins in game. They're just not functional properly. So yes, make them slightly more functional. Make them if you drop something in there, it gets deleted, sort of thing. Have there been infos about when snub fighters like the Connie will work? It looks like they're building them in for 3.12 now. We saw in the recent Inside Star Citizen, they actually had work done on them. The Taurus as well. Do you think the refinery and storage decks will be a safer way to deal with trading, or if there is a server crash, it will clear those queues? Oh, no. So I think that they'll be in the system. When you do refinery stuff, you could log off, and when you log back in, it would have potentially done that queue. So it's a service that's going to be handled outside of your server, basically. There'll be a service dealing with that. It's part of the persistence. And part of the tracking for that. Probably part of the iCache, thinking about it. Make bins functional. I remember vaguely you messing around with the bins in bin. I mean, it will clearly be missions. There'll be missions with people that haven't got a ship, their ship's been lost, and they haven't got any money. They'll have to restock vending machines and do janitorial work and put things in the bins. Or maybe a part of assassination missions, you just sort of blend in for a while, put stuff in bins for a while until your target comes along. Yeah, but expect the storage decks, cargo decks, the refinery decks and stuff. Once you've got your trading queue in with them, you can probably log off. It doesn't matter if the server crashes then. Should make a lot of the stuff's making the game more stable, and they're building more redundancies for those services. I'm hoping that in the very near future, again probably with iCache, that they go, right, server crashes, what do we do? If for some reason you can't spawn back where you were, even if it's not the same server, then what they need to do, in my opinion, is have your ship spawn at the nearest station, yeah, and you pay an impounding fee or something. Because then, if you've got a cargo ship, has all the same cargo in it still. Oh, perfect. Can you imagine? Server's crashed. Cool. Bam. It's in there. You also need to make sure that people can't just combat log off, though. Okay. Oh, I'm getting attacked by pirates or a player. Oh, F4. Call them safe. Oh, people are joining each other in the chat. Rosie, Shade, and Michael, like, and Steampunk, and people chatting. Oh, a community. Silly G, and people being nice to each other. This is what I like. No one telling me I look like a fucking special potato. I almost said something, or I should have said then that would have lowered my B score. What else have we got? Hi, what types of gameplay could they add without iCache and full persistence? Huge amount of gameplay without it. It's just they really want to build all gameplay with that in mind, because like the iCache and full persistence leads on to so many different things: physicalized components, dynamic economy. It's hugely core to the game. And like they could add a load of different mechanics without it. It's just they'd have to build those mechanics with iCache in mind. You see what I mean? Now, do you think Squadron 42 will sort of merge with the persistent universe at the end? Sort of, yes. I mean, the stuff like the system, the Odin system stuff, should be available in the persistent universe. Oh, don't worry. Do you think Titan suits, since they have different roles and abilities, may have transformative abilities, like land, air, mech type of thing. Unlikely. I would expect them to be power loader / Iron Man type suits, but not with jump packs or air type function. I wouldn't expect that. I mean, they could potentially have EVA packs for very limited movement in space. I know people that play Star Citizen on an Xbox controller. That you have to bind a load of the stuff in 3.10 at the moment. Yeah, you can happily play with a controller. I know it's considered a stealth fighter, but is the Saber considered to be a light or medium fighter? Medium fighter. Saber is a medium fighter. Statement. What else are the vehicle artists going to work on other than ships and ground vehicles? They work on environments as well, so space stations, buildings, all that sort of stuff. A lot of the people that would be working on ships are working on Squadron 42 assets and environments. Will the flight model eventually make ships such as the Gladius with no VTOLs fall if not constantly moving in atmosphere? No. Because you have thrusters still. You have little mini thrusters that will keep you there. However, if those thrusters overheat or you power down, or those thrusters go offline for any reason, then you should fall. But you will be able to glide. You will sort of like be able to glide even without any power, potentially. You think they are nearing the end of adding things for mining? Seems the only thing left after the refining stations are the ship refineries and the detachable saddlebags on the Orion. So there's technically a load of other stuff they can do for mining. So mining, refining, and then the uses of those refined and mined materials in the dynamic economy and factory nodes, and potentially player crafting. Also, loads of different types of mineable, and yeah. Oh, I've just seen your donations again, Michael. You're a monster. You're a monster! Those steampunk devil, you're a monster as well. Oh, you're both monsters. Keith Beardsley. You can be a monster as well. You're a monster. There you are. Not as much of a monster. You're like a little rabbit monster. There's Michael Ike and oh my god, I've forgotten your name. Steampunk Devil. They're sort of like more bears. Arrgh. Monsters. Do you know what I mean? You're like, eh. They just like squish you. You think they should include a stock market that you can invest into in the game? I mean, you probably sort of can, but not in the way you think. You can literally buy stocks of things, probably. Like, I want to buy a load of metal and rent a hangar for it, and then sell it when it's worth more. Yeah, that's the stock. What else have we got? No, why are you saying more money? No. Steampunk Devil. Is it because I made you act like a bear? No. Monster nom nom nom. Oh no. What is this? Oh. Thank you. I appreciate ridiculous sums of money for me not doing much other than talking and just being an idiot. Thank you. Oh. With the new fixed targeting system, would you recommend picking up the Gladius? I love the Gladius from a player backer point of view, because it's sort of like typically the gold standard for how when they update stuff, they try and get the Gladius into a good state, or at least functional for the mechanic they're trying to get. So it had the new UI first, although it's been updated a little bit further now. And you can sort of like with the atmospheric flight model. It sort of like does a little bit of everything there. I mean, obviously it doesn't have the VTOL in the same way, but it can glide and it's got the big wings and you can sort of test stuff. So from that point of view and testing out the game, the Gladius is really useful. It's a very solid light fighter. I enjoy it. I hope CIG isn't coming for me. When do you think they'll add more website customizations for ships, with other 300i type options and that sort of stuff? So that's manufacturer customization. I actually think they're trying to work more towards the more aftermarket customization stuff at the moment, and I suppose manufacturing customization in game. So I think that took a little bit too much time and effort to get those website options done. What features do you hope are added in the star map rework? I want some ways of sharing and coordinating locations with other people, so I can tell, I can save locational data, send that to someone else, set waypoints for other people and myself on there, coordinate, navigate, coordinate systems. I'd like to see some sort of integrated minimap, some form of compass, though that's complicated, but I want to be able to navigate better on ground. There's a huge amount of stuff they could do for the star map. What are you loving most about 3.10 at the moment? I'm quite enjoying the flight model and general combat, quite genuinely. That's probably the biggest thing in there. When do you think claim staking for land will be implemented? They wanted it at the end of 2018 originally, so I wouldn't actually expect it to be too far out. It's different from like having your own outposts and your own place to live and stuff. But the ability to have that land claim gameplay and some gameplay associated with it and laws associated with it probably isn't too far away. Do you think they'll ever replace the Sentinel's EMP charges with the advertised EMP missiles? I think they will be doing EMP missiles. They've got the, is it Swordfish? They've made a new manufacturer specifically for EMP-based weapons recently. What ship are you most excited for in the verse that's not currently flyable? It's either the Javelin, Fanny Merchantman, the Rhine or the Polaris. I'm not really sure which one. I love so many ships. I haven't got PTU access, and I have bought a game package through the store. Anyone know why that is? Because the PTU is currently Wave 2. So that's people, that's concierge subscribers, Evocati, and people that have been reasonably active on the Issue Council reporting bugs. It will go to wider PTU, open PTU next, and live within the next few days. Is the expectation. Have you tried the new targeting system? Yes. It's been updated a couple of times during the PTU. So now it's a little bit more ergonomic and user-friendly, and a little bit easier to use. Sort of like can select targets by looking at it or pointing at it. And you can select and lock targets within that cone and just cycle through targets that are locked you or hostiles that are in that cone as well. Now that it will select and target them. So it's a bit easier than just... It was a little bit overly fiddly before, I think, for some people. Still requires you to be a bit more aware of where targets are and on the radar and where you're pointing and stuff like that, though. So bear that in mind. Yeah, the fixed... So they've got fixed weapon assist now for shooting. So that literally... it nudges your projectile slightly more towards the target. So rather than missing with large numbers of your shots, those shots are much more likely to hit if you were very close to hitting anyway. So you can deal quite a lot more damage now. Fixed weapons are hugely more viable. I still don't know if they're too OP yet, because I need the rest of the stuff to be stable and not buggy, and then I can test it a bit more. But the Cartu Owl in Vandal Swarm, I mean, the Vandal can't get anywhere near you. unless they I suppose, unless they do. You don't want to get shot too much when you're in the Catoal, but it just goes boom, boom, like 1 to 2 shots will take a Vandal out with its size 4 weapons. It's rude. What features do you hope are added to the star map? Well, huge map. iCache, server meshing, salvage, repair. It's huge, everything. I want everything to be added. Do you feel that this channel is more about the development of Star Citizen, or do you plan to keep it? Or will you plan to keep it going as much as you like once Star Citizen is released? It will be a mixture of Star Citizen development and gameplay and guides and Star Citizen news and patch notes and all things Star Citizen. But obviously, it focuses much more on news in general and discussion. I do want to keep that, but I'll do more and more and more in game, and then transition more and more and more in game as the game gets more built. You've been making content for years and have made predictions on dates and content. Would you say you were more correct than wrong? So I've been hugely wrong about certain times and dates and stuff. So basically, I relay information that Cloud Imperium put out. I use that to influence my opinion. Based on what they say, I give confidence for stuff. I've been reasonably right about some stuff. I've been totally wrong about other stuff. Some of my predictions about things have been so spot on, it looks like I've got privileged information when I haven't. Some stuff I've been so wrong about, even though I have had privileged information, that you think that I was an idiot. So... couldn't they do remote access to the Carrack for the Pisces, like requesting a landing? I think that some limited ATC / opening certain doors for your fighters and things like that, it's a good idea. I'm a beautiful potato. Thank you very much, Shadow. I appreciate that. What else we got? Is there any mention of a possibility of owning, buying, building your own space station if you're very successful in Star Citizen? So, one of the original stretch goals, and I'll bring it up on the screen, actually, is player-managed space stations. Station. So, the $19 million original stretch goal. Managed space stations, players will compete to own and operate a limited number of space stations across the galaxy. If Cloud Imperium, if Star Citizen wanted to have buildable space stations, capturable space stations, any of that sort of stuff, they could. They could. It's whether one they want to. I think at the very least we'll probably have capturable / static stations that can be taken over. That's very likely. So just switching it over to the CitizenCon 2019 demos, the video in the background. I do read the Twitch chats. I read all the chats simultaneously. I say simultaneously. I look at one, then the other, 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 and then I get dizzy. What would you put in the hangar of a Carrack? The C8X Pisces, if I had one. At the moment, I mean, that might change in the future. I haven't really thought about it too much. Do you think salvage is far off with stuff like the multi-tool tractor beam, which I assume will transition into a ship tractor beam and stuff like that for push and pull? Yeah, so I think there's certainly the potential of using even the multi-tool tractor beam as part of basic salvage, enabling. So tier 0 salvage I see as you removing components out of a ship or weapons, cutting them off, and then moving them over to your ship with the tractor beam by hand, whatever. That's sort of tier 0 salvage, and they build on it from there. Obviously, the larger tractor beams and stuff allowing you to pull stuff into your nom. . How will exploring work? I can explore if every system has a wormhole. These systems would be explored in no time. Okay, so we have no full idea of how exploring works. It touches on a huge amount of areas, their exploration. But let me give you some examples. Say you've got a star system. You could use exploration ships to go to the edge of a star system and then just keep on going. Yeah, track. So you'd be scanning down points of interest, jumping to lots of different points of interest, keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. So you're on the edge of the star system, but you keep on going. What else is out there? Well, lots of different dynamically generated content, lots of different exploration content. Maybe you could find other wormholes that would take you to a system that's already been explored, but it's a quick jump from one area to another. And maybe that's an unstable wormhole that you could use for your orc to know that there's like a back door here, or for traders to use briefly to massively cut down trade times. Or maybe it's a jump point to another system. The derelict salvage, asteroid fields, weird anomalies. So there could be these huge amounts of points of interest that you can just keep on going and finding and going and mapping. Yeah? And we can have this for thousands, hundreds, billions of kilometers. Yeah? Is the rock working in 3.10? There are bugs with it, so that it doesn't harvest all of its crystals that it's supposed to harvest, but it is functional. Do you remember where on the roadmap the tech is that's required to make the doors on the Caterpillar work as elevators? It's not showing on the roadmap, but they said I think they said they were able to make them work as soon as they get to them. So they're sort of like on the there will be some time in the near future that they'll be able to get the Caterpillar elevators working. I believe that's what they've said. Are they going to get rid of the amber canopy on the P-72 Emerald? I haven't actually flown the Emerald. They're not sure, or not overly aware of its bugs and problems. I'm looking forward to the Mercury Star Runner. Like, really looking forward to the Mercury Star Runner. I think it's one of the more exciting ships. It's also a great idea to have giveaways for it as well. Because it's like something you can run with a small group or with NPCs eventually, or potentially even the AI blades. Does a little bit of everything. It's cool looking. Bored. Steampunk wants to get into 3D printing, so we're chatting on it. Best community on YouTube. Thanks, I mean, I'm not. My community is not the best, but it's the best for me. I love it the most. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are better communities. Maybe there's not. Fuck it. Why not? No, we're the best community. Say we. You'll be the community you want to be. Looking at ships with detachable saddlebags, does that require docking to implement in game? So for them to be detached and unattached, yes, it does. As far as I'm aware, iCache and docking, and morphing physics grid stuff. But that's all sort of coming. They're working on all of that at the moment. Female aliens? Question mark. Yes, you should see them, or just aliens in all their alienedness. Has there been any news on the physicalized item system? So they are building the physical inventories at the moment, and that should be in for the end of the year, they've said. The addition of the tractor being multi-tool attachment, do you think we'll be able to make a massive pile of NPC corpses at Olisar? So there'll be an NPC spawn locker, which will deal with the physicalization of NPCs and their cleanup. But obviously, I suppose they need janitors and people to drag them off as well, or for them to be despawned when no one's looking. When do you think we might see the Squadron 42 trailer? So there's a Squadron 42 update development video that they're supposed to have out a while ago that they're working on now still. So that should be within the next few weeks, I would expect. I think we're all waiting on that. It's been memeing hard. A new Squadron 42 trailer potentially would see something either 10th of October to end of the year sort of time. So when there was going to be CitizenCon to the end of the year, maybe they'll show something new for Squadron 42. From what they said about the physics grids, about the Hull C, it sounded like it has the same blocker that modules have. Do you think modules will come out shortly after the Hull C? I think next year we will see lots and lots of modularity and customization. It looks like they're building towards that, and they've got UIs that they're building towards that as well. How's your family doing? Very well at the moment. Thank you very much for asking. My dad's doing really well. There's lots of different treatments available for him, but I'm hoping that I hope that he decides that radiotherapy is a good treatment for his problems, and hopefully that will either cure him or get him into a great state for many years. Is the idea and the hope. There's obviously worries about the treatments, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work as best we can. What is your opinion on Krispy Kreme donuts? I can't eat donuts on my diet at all. Like, donuts, there's too many calories in them. There's too many other foods I'd rather have than donuts. So not a massive fan. Do you think when racing comes back, hovercraft racing ships will get a look at? I think that there'll be lots of different types of race in the future with lots of different classes of vehicle. What are the chances we'll see a small playable demo this year? What's the chance we'll see a small playable demo this year when they do the CitizenCon stuff? So they're not doing CitizenCon this year. It's been cancelled for 2020 because of the global lockdown situation. But we could see another small in-game demo of Star Citizen Universe stuff. It was very, very roughly suggested by an unreliable source that there could be a Squadron 42 sort of like prelude demo thing. I don't think maybe it's possible, but... Did you know when escape pods might work? Well, it's funny you should say that, because Parasite docking that they're working for at the moment for the Constellation, and the getting the Hull C working, and the iCache, having those items be able to be detached and reattached, that should work for the escape pods as well. It's all the same tech. Can you give us the Talon didn't read thoughts of the Talon for those of you that have only recently joined? Yes, I can. So have a look at it again. Say, look at it. Not exciting. So Spirit Talon, strike hard and fade away. Okay. So that was what was on the website yesterday. Very briefly, I couldn't access the page. They just had that up and then it disappeared. Obviously, potentially an accident. Some people were theory crafting that, or it's part of their new way they do sort of like advertising. But so Spirit Talon, almost certainly Tavaran Light Fighter that we've been hearing about, or Tavaran Fighter at the very least, suggests that it's very likely going towards the stealth vibe. We know that Tavaran systems, sort of like engines and stuff, are a low emission anyway, so it sort of makes sense. Now, originally at CitizenCon 2019, they talked about a Tavaran Light Fighter that they sort of had roughly in early concept, and they said it was going to have like 2 size 4 hardpoints, and like the Tavaran type shields, and then not much else. It's going to be very no-nonsense light fighter, and I suspect that that's probably what this is. It sort of makes sense. Very no-nonsense, very sort of like cool alien Tavaran ship, maybe a bit interceptorish, and a little bit stealthy, but yeah, basic no-nonsense Talon. That's what we're expecting. Do we know when it's going to come out? Nope. Could it be for 3.10 or 3.11? Yeah. Could it be for much later? Yep. Could it be straight to flyable? Or is it concept? We don't know. Oh, that's been suggested it's probably more towards the flyable just because of how CIG are recently. Does CIG hate the Constellation? No, they don't hate it. So okay. So at the moment, the Taurus is getting built out, and they're doing the docking for the Constellation series. At the same time, it's possible the Constellation could get a little mini rework. There's a little tiny one. Yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. They did say a while ago there was no secret Constellation rework going on, but that doesn't mean now there isn't something going on for a little bit of a rework for it. Just means at that time there was no secret Constellation rework going on. I thought there might have been. Do you think the Taurus has grown in size? No, I think they've just made the most use of its floor space and internals and expanded its cargo bay out a little bit. So it might be a little bit fatter in its cargo bay. Any idea when John Crew and the team might finish the Carrack? Front, armour and shield, been waiting that for a while. So like the closable shutters and stuff, I don't know. I can't do a Gladys voice. How far off are we, do you think, from having AI-controlled turrets or NPC crew hiring? A while away from NPC crew hiring, like over a year probably. Or maybe at least a year is probably a better way of saying that. AI-controlled turrets and AI blades and stuff like that, probably not too far away. Like something we could see by the middle of next year sort of thing. You think they might have something like Halo jumping off starships to attack ground targets? Yeah, maybe. Like they did say they wanted some way of being able to eject in atmosphere and survive. And I like the idea of some way of getting off ships and assaulting ground targets. When do you think they will update the Vandal ships with the new looks? I don't know. It's an interesting one though, because I love the new Glaive and Scythe. I think they look beautiful. When do you think CIG will give us the ability to name our ships? So it looks like they are working on ship customization at the moment. I'm not sure when we'll get the ability to name our ships and actually have that display in game. But not too far in the future. Can you give some info on the TIE Fighter? What? Is CIG waiting for Horizon to be released before any of the Crusader ships release? No, they're not. So the Mercury Star Runner looks like it's going to be in 3.11. And it looks like the Hercules C2, at least the C2, is going to be in 3.12. What do you think will be the first ship that will not be able to land on a planet? Ooh. Javelin? I mean, they'll be able to land. They just might not be able to ever take off. Oh no, they will be able to take off, I suppose, because they've got the tow ships, the tractor beams. I mean, a king ship's going to have problems, isn't it? I've got all the chats up on the screen. I just move between them, and sometimes I go down a rabbit hole. I'm quite far behind sometimes on chats. With regard to your mini roadmap, if you had to put an estimate year for when all is functional, what would you estimate? All is functional. 2025 functionality for everything they've got planned. Not all of the gameplay and content area built out though. Functional. Is the Pisces purchasable in game for 3.10? Yes, it is. Almost every ship is. Although we haven't seen a Squadron 42 update, much work has been shown off lately that reflects Squadron 42 features. I mean, yeah, and you'll see next week, probably, the Squadron 42 newsletter, which will give us quite a lot more insight on what's been going on, and the Citizen Universe one as well. Do you think CIG is taking the don't give any information until it's ready? I mean, maybe. There needs to be more information given up to us, though. Your estimates live possible this week? Yes, it's possible that it looks to me like CIG are pushing for 3.10 live for this weekend, as long as there's no problems. That can they solve those blockers? Yes or no? That's going to affect what's going on. Has there been any news on the RSI Odin? No, just rumored RSI Odin gunship later this year. Either straight to flyable or concept. Maybe. The Santok Yai. STY. I don't have any information beyond that it's a medium Xi'an fighter. How long for hull A and B? What's A and B? What? Why are people using acronyms and letters and things? Is trading now viable in 3.10? Talk to me at live. They might change stuff massively. If you could put 3 things in Star Citizen in a working state by 2021 Q1, what would you choose? Physical components. The flight model in general. And dynamic economy. Be amazing having those. What do you think we should be talking more about in Star Citizen? Just everything. Everything more civilly. Like, I want people to share ideas, talk about what they like, talk about what they don't like, talk about what they like or don't like about other people's ideas, but do it in a really nice, civil way. Perfect. The sharing of that information and the iteration you can do on that is really, really useful. And I want to encourage more people in the conversation, sharing ideas, talking about what they like and don't like about other people's opinions and ideas. Right? Everyone can be mature and civil and try and understand why other people's points of view are. Perfect. Is there any chance we get something like jetpacks? Some way of surviving in atmosphere. It could be jetpacks. It could be jet seats. It could be parachutes. Wouldn't expect jetpacks though. Jump packs probably more likely. A bit worried because I can hear a clicking on my PC, which could mean that one of the hard drives is fucked. Bear with me. I'll stay on. I'll answer the rest of the questions quick, and then I need to check those hard drives because I haven't backed up one of them for like a month. And if I lose all that stuff, that'll be hellish at this stage. But when do you think server meshing is realistic? Sort of like realistically, Q2 2021. I think they're aiming for Q1, but I think it's more likely it'll be Q2 for like the very first early stage of server meshing. Yeah, a large portion of the game in the persistent universe, getting more gameplay mechanics and the interesting dynamic content and stuff, is partially gated at least by, it's gated by iCache and server meshing and UI. With the new aim assist for fixed weapons, is the Glubia Gluber viable as a fighter again? Oh wait, what? The Gluber? What? Adius? What is the Gluber? What are you talking about? I love you, Garen. Any idea how the docking for ships like the Cutlass Red is coming along? I know that they were working on docking. Docking moved off the roadmap. Don't know where the ship-to-ship and ship-to-station docking is at the moment. I'm hoping it's going to be in 3.12. I haven't got any specifics, though. Thank you. This is a test message. JG. Okay. I appreciate your test message, and I appreciate your test €5. Thanks.
What's your favourite thing in the new patch? The float and combat model stuff. Probably. I mean, it's that or the fact that almost all the ships are now purchasable in Go. That's pretty cool. I've been wanting that for a couple of years at least. Are there any actual pictures of the Asperia Talon? No. The only pictures I've seen shared are the Black Panther Talon fighter. The little... Personal take on the Gladius versus the Arrow versus the Hawk. Or question, sorry. I really love the Arrow. But from a mechanical point of view, I really like the Gladius because it allows me to test lots of elements of the game in a way that I can then compare to other bits. The Hawk, not really into the Hawk until I've got bounty hunting properly. When can we expect the Asperia Talon to be in game? We don't know. It could be really soon. It could be months and months off. And do you think it will be available in game with in-game currency? It will at some point. Probably not within the first, not within its first patch release though. Oh, what? Yeah. Once we get the glaive. Okay, so the scythe and the glaive, until they get updated with the new scythe and glaive models, I'm sort of avoiding them. Realistically, those ships should be just worse than the UEE ships. The Vandal are a few hundred years behind UEE tech. I'm pretty obsessed to get gravity on the Carrack Hangar. What do you think? What? What? Have you tried the Banu Defender with the new flight model in atmosphere? No, I have not tried it in atmosphere. I will try it potentially later today, though. There's a few ships I need to fly in atmosphere still. Actually, quite a lot, to be honest. I would like to be able to know the time on each planet or moon, so I can arrive in daylight if I choose. Yes, I like that idea as well. I do believe they are going to have orbiting planets and moons at some point as well. How much do you think the Talon will cost? I think it will probably be at least $120, the Talon, and up to $180. UEC 3.5 to 4 mil. It's alien ships have alien tax on them. Oh no! So, okay. So, okay. I think they need to rework the prices of all ships as well. So, in my head, I've sort of recalculated the costs. I need to do a video on this. I need to talk about this because otherwise people are like, "What? No, it shouldn't be 4 million." I think it. We'll talk about this later in a bit more detail. If you compared it to current prices, I suspect it would be like 1.8 mil. But I think they should be a lot more expensive. But when do you think we're able to see in-game purchasable ship skins? They're in 3.10. They are in 3.10. You can get them in-game. We'll be able to get orbital mechanics working realistically like the Expanse. I don't think it's going to be super realistic, the orbital mechanic stuff. You'll have orbiting planets and moons. Your ship won't. Your ship's still going to be part of a physics grid when it's in within a planet's physics grid, and it's going to react in a weird way, not a realistic way, I suppose is what I mean. Considering that time question, how possible would it be to include a day-night indicator on quantum locations on planets and moons? I mean, you could, on the star map, you could probably just see the rotated to and see current time. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Of each of the points of the time that keeps on ticking. Work out whether it's day or night. There's day or night cycles for temperature and for lights, so why not? Will there be a sale for the Talon? And if yes, yeah, there will be at some point. How much do you think it'll be? As I said, I think it'll be between $120 and $180 because of alien tax more than anything else. Do you think places should have more local storylines to it? Imagine NPCs, for example, in Skyrim or Fallout. Yes, I think that they'll obviously be building a dynamic economy, but there'll be areas that are, have a lot of narrative storytelling going on. There'll be some more theme parked missions. There'll be some quite highly detailed modular parts of missions and dynamically generated content as well. So, with only a few ships with capital radar modules, how do you think detection will work? On paper, it would seem as though it would be pretty hard to sneak up on a ship with one. We'll have to see. They are working on new scanning and radar detection stuff. I'm not sure exactly how effective the stealth mechanics are going to be in the game. What's your least favourite thing about 3.10? The amount of time it took to get from Evocati to first wave PTU. Right. I'm going to dash off in a second. I want to give a massive special salute to Steampunk Devil and Michael Ike, because you guys are beautiful, beautiful human beings and give me lots of money, and you make me happy. Mwah. Only other quick questions I can answer. The universe time is showing is 29:53. That's because don't worry about that. Canonically, it's 29:50. It will, the clock will sync better in the future. They're just testing stuff on the servers. The ships are too cheap. Yes, I believe that for the in-game prices. They're not too cheap at the moment because we have resets, but they will be too cheap once we don't have resets. I was playing 3.10 in Wave 1, and now I get 1,506 errors. Any tips on a workaround? Have a look on the recopying your account and stuff like that might work. But have a look on the support.orbitspace Industries website, because they've got that error specifically listed, and have a look to see if they've got any fixes for it. Do you think the Orion will be the first cap or professional cap shipping game? Isn't the Reclaimer sort of pretty big? Sounds like this game will be ready in 10 years, if you're lucky, mate. Game for our children's children. Right. I hate that I took someone up on upgrading my arrow to the Gladius. I love the arrow so much, but I do like the Gladius as well. I want both mechanically. I can test stuff. Right. I'm going to dash off. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's very much appreciated. So I was able to do a quick, nice, simple stream. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to quick bite to eat, get a cup of tea, and then chat to in. Looking at a tutorial video and how the new targeting works in the latest patch. Planned a little bit of content and make sure she's happy with her contract and stuff like that. And hopefully in the next few days, then I'll be working for me probably full time. I've probably got a load of fucking stuff to do with my accountant and things still, which caused me no end of stress. But thank you so much. I'm sorry that I've been out of sorts recently. I mean, maybe you don't even see that. I'm pretty transparent with stuff. But I appreciate all the love. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comments of my dad and stuff. Sending love is appreciated. Also, sending money. No, thank you so much. Very much appreciated, guys. Right, we're going to go stream someone else. We're going to host them on the Sublexy's Twitch streaming. Send you over to one of these people. Here we go. Oh shit. I'll send you over to Subliminal. I didn't realise he was even streaming. Let's go raid him. Stay strong. No, I'm good. Appreciate it. Everyone stay strong. Everyone stay sane. If you're still part of lockdown culture, then contact other people. Get if you need help, say hello, stroke their faces, whatever. See if they're doing well. If you're not doing well, make sure you reach out. If you think someone else might not be doing well, reach out. Even if everyone's doing well, reach out. Everyone say hello to each other. We'll start playing some games together as well on Hopefully 3.10 will be stable and Sin will be able to organise everything, and she'll be able to organise my life and make me loads more money on my channel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. You take care. I'm going to say hello to Subliminal in a second. I'm going to go watch him here. Let's go and say hello. But genuinely appreciated. You take care, guys. Talk to you soon. Peace out. Hopefully 3.10 for this weekend live. Or at least open PTU. That's what I'm expecting. We don't know when the Talon's coming out, but we're expecting the Asperia Talon to be the Tavaran light fighter, slightly stealthy orientated fractionally, but more sort of like no nonsense fighter. But we don't know when it's coming out. It could be a concept, could be straight to flyable. We don't know yet. Thanks a lot. You take care, guys. Talk to you soon.